The impossible colony commander Marcus Vale stared at the readings on his scanner, convinced the device was malfunctioning. Zephyr Prime registered as a Category 18 Deathworld, a classification so lethal that even the battle-hardened Korthic warriors refused deployment there. The planet's surface crawled with nightmare creatures that existed in multiple dimensions simultaneously. Acid rain fell from skies filled with toxic clouds, and the very ground shifted between states of matter without warning, yet somehow, impossibly. There were humans living there. "This has to be an error," muttered his xenobiology officer, Lieutenant David Park. The atmospheric composition alone would dissolve human tissue in minutes. Marcus rubbed his temples, studying the orbital survey data for the 7th time. The planet housed creatures so hostile that most species had never even named them. Shadow. Wraiths that could phase through solid matter while maintaining deadly physical form. Crimson hunters whose crystalline bodies could slice through starship hulls. And worst of all, the void shepherds, massive entities that existed partially in normal space and partially in dimensions that defied comprehension. "Sir, we're receiving a transmission from the surface," announced Communications Officer Rachel. "Torres, it's unusual." The main screen flickered to life, revealing a scene that challenged everything Marcus thought he knew about survival. A human man, perhaps 35 years old, stood in what appeared to be a toxic marshland. Behind him, a massive void shepherd, a creature of shifting shadows and impossible geometry, was apparently playing hide-and-seek with a human child who couldn't have been more than 5 years old. "Greetings, orbital station," the man said, cheerfully, waving at the camera. "I'm James Harrison, Colony Administrator for Haven Settlement. You must be the research team we've been expecting." Marcus watched in stunned silence as the child giggled and reached up to touch one of the void shepherd's tentacle-like appendages. The creature, which should have been devouring the child instantly, instead made what could only be described as pleased humming sounds. "Mr. Harrison," Marcus managed to say, "do you realize you're living on a Category 18 death world surrounded by apex predators that could annihilate an entire fleet?" James laughed, a sound that was somehow both completely normal and utterly surreal, given the circumstances. "Oh, you mean Whisper and the others? They're wonderful with the children. Actually, that's part of why we called you here. We need help expanding our childcare rotation schedule." "Your childcare rotation schedule?" "Well, yes. See, it turns out that void shepherds are surprisingly gentle with children. They have this instinctive protective response to anything small and helpless. Whisper there has been watching little Emma for 4 months now, and she's never been happier. But Whisper needs occasional breaks, and the Crimson Hunters have been asking if they can have a turn." Marcus felt his understanding of xenobiology crumbling. "The Crimson Hunters want to babysit human children? They're very maternal once you get to know them," James explained. As a spider-like creature, the size of a transport shuttle delicately approached the clearing, its crystal carapace refracting toxic rain into rainbow patterns. "The problem is, they tend to be overprotective. Last week, Prism here wouldn't let any of the other kids come near little Emma because she thought they might hurt her. The children who changed everything the Crimson Hunter, apparently named Prism, clicked its mandibles in what seemed like embarrassment, and gently nudged a human child forward with one of its legs. The child, who couldn't have been more than 6 years old, hugged the creature's leg affectionately before skipping away to play with other children. "This is impossible," Marcus whispered. "These creatures are documented as hostile to all sentient life. They should be attacking you, not acting like oversized guardians." James's expression grew serious. "That's what we thought too when we first arrived. Our colony ship, the New Horizon, crashed here 14 months ago. We expected to be dead within hours. But something extraordinary happened with the children." He gestured to where a group of human children were playing what appeared to be tagged with creatures that the galactic database classified as extremely hostile to human life. A boy was riding on the back of an acid-spitting tunnel burrower, both apparently having the time of their lives. While the adults were panicking and trying to build defenses, our kids just walked up to these creatures and started treating them like really big, really unusual pets. And the creatures responded. It's like they'd never encountered anything that wasn't afraid of them before. Marcus watched a small human girl carefully feeding berries to a shadow wraith, the deadly creature purring contentedly. The children's fearlessness broke through some kind of barrier, James continued. Once the creatures realized that the kids genuinely wanted to be friends, their entire behavior changed. They became protective instead of predatory, nurturing instead of hostile. But the environmental hazards, Marcus protested, the toxic atmosphere, the acid rain, the unstable terrain. Oh, those are real enough, James replied. The adults still need environmental suits and medical support to survive here. But the children adapt. Human children are apparently more resilient than we gave them credit for. Their immune systems have already started developing resistances to the local toxins, and they seem to instinctively know which areas are safe and which to avoid. Marcus watched as a void shepherd carefully helped a human child climb down from a crystalline tree formation, its deadly appendages moving with the delicate precision of a surgeon. So now we have a colony where the most dangerous creatures on the planet have basically become volunteer babysitters. Whisper over there has learned to change diapers, James explained proudly. Prism can somehow sense when a child is getting sick and will bring them to the medical bay immediately. And the tunnel burrowers have started teaching the kids how to find the best edible fungi in the underground caverns. Lieutenant Park shook his head in amazement. This is going to revolutionize xenobiology. The implications for human-alien relations are staggering. Well, that's why we called you, James replied. We need help understanding what's happening here, and we need to make sure our childcare rotation system is scientifically sound. Also, the Void Shepherds have been asking if there are any other human colonies with children they could visit. I think they're getting broody. The science of impossible bonds Dr. Rebecca Stone, the expedition's lead xenobiologist, had spent 20 years studying interspecies relations, but nothing had prepared her for Haven's settlement. As their shuttle descended through Zephyr Prime's toxic atmosphere, she reviewed her instruments one final time, certain they would reveal the truth behind this impossible situation. Atmospheric toxicity is off the charts, she announced to her team. These readings should be lethal to human children within minutes of exposure. The shuttle touched down in a clearing where impossible scenes played out before them. A pack of shadow wraiths had formed a protective circle around a group of human toddlers who were napping peacefully in the toxic rain. The creatures ethereal. Forms shifted and wavered, but their attention remained focused on the sleeping children. Dr. Stone, welcome to Haven. James Harrison approached, wearing a full environmental suit. I'm afraid adults still need protection, but watch this. He gestured to an 8-year-old girl who ran past them, completely unprotected, laughing as she chased a juvenile tunnel burrower. That's impossible, Dr. Stone breathed, her scanner showing lethal toxin levels surrounding the child. She should be dead. Meet Professor Elena Vasquez, James said, introducing a woman in her 50s who emerged from a nearby structure. She's been studying the children's adaptation process. Elena smiled warmly. The children's biology is changing, Dr. Stone. Their cellular structure is adapting at an unprecedented rate. They're developing new enzyme systems that neutralize the toxins, enhanced immune responses, and even modified nervous systems that allow them to sense danger instinctively. A crimson hunter approached, carrying a human baby in a specially woven crystalline cradle. The creature's movements were impossibly gentle for something that could slice through starship armor. The creatures are changing too, Elena continued. Their neural patterns show increased empathy responses when exposed to human children. It's as if the children's innocence and fearlessness triggers some kind of protective instinct that overrides their predatory programming. Dr. Stone watched in fascination as the Crimson Hunter carefully placed the baby in Alana's arms. The creature's razor-sharp appendages moved with surgical precision, never once threatening the infant. We've documented similar changes in all the species here, Elena explained. The Void Shepherds have developed new communication methods to interact with the children. They've learned to modulate their dimensional phases to appear less frightening while maintaining their protective capabilities. A young boy ran up to them, followed by what appeared to be a small Void Shepherd. Dr. Elena, Shadow says there's a storm coming. He wants to take the little kids to the safe caves. Elena nodded seriously. Thank you, Tommy. Tell Shadow we'll gather everyone in 10 minutes. As the boy ran off, chattering happily to the dimensional creature, Dr. Stone realized she was witnessing something unprecedented in galactic history. They're not just coexisting, she whispered. They're evolving together. Exactly, Elena. Confirmed. The children are becoming something new, something that can bridge the gap between humanity and these incredible creatures. And the creatures are discovering aspects of themselves they never knew existed. The galactic revelation word of Haven settlement spread through the galaxy like wildfire, challenging every assumption about human-alien relations. Within months, representatives from dozens of species arrived at Zephyr Prime, each hoping to understand the miraculous transformation taking place. Ambassador Krill of the Centauri Federation stared in disbelief as a human child demonstrated how Void Shepherds could be taught to paint with their dimensional appendages. The resulting artwork seemed to exist in multiple dimensions simultaneously, creating beauty that defied conventional understanding. This changes everything, Ambassador Krill whispered to her aide. If human children can bond with Category 18, Deathworld predators, what does that mean for galactic diplomacy? Dr. Stone had established a research station on the planet's surface, documenting the ongoing changes. Her latest findings were revolutionary. The children aren't just adapting to the environment, she explained to the gathered ambassadors. They're somehow facilitating evolution in both species. The creatures are developing new cognitive abilities, while the children are gaining almost superhuman resilience and intuitive understanding of alien psychology. 9-year-old Lisa Chun demonstrated this perfectly as she approached a newly arrived creature that even the Void Shepherds feared, a temporal predator that existed across multiple time streams simultaneously. The adults watched in terror as she walked up to the impossible being. Hi there, Lisa said simply. You look lost. Are you looking for someone to play with? The temporal predator, which should have been completely incomprehensible to human minds, somehow responded to her innocent approach. Its multiple time streams seemed to stabilize, focusing on the present moment as it gently extended what might have been a hand. Remarkable, breathed Professor Vasquez. The children's neural patterns seemed to have a stabilizing effect on even the most chaotic alien consciousnesses. The implications were staggering. If human children could bond with the most dangerous predators in the galaxy, transforming them into protectors and friends, what did that mean for the future of interspecies relations? Commander Vale, who had remained on the planet to oversee the research, watched as his own daughter played with a group of shadow wraiths. The creatures had learned to solidify their forms just enough to participate in human games while maintaining their ethereal nature. The children are becoming ambassadors, he realized, natural diplomats who can bridge gaps that adults never could. James Harrison nodded, watching his son Tommy teach a Crimson Hunter how to build sandcastles. They're not just our future, he said quietly. They're everyone's future. These bonds they're forming with the creatures here, they're creating a new kind of relationship between species, one based on trust and mutual understanding rather than fear and dominance. As if to emphasize his point, a void shepherd approached, carrying several human children on its back, while a pack of shadow wraiths provided escort. The children were laughing and pointing at the alien sunset, completely comfortable with their impossible guardians. "The galaxy will never be the same," Dr. Stone murmured, making notes on her tablet. "We're witnessing the birth of a new era in interspecies relations." The new galactic order 2 years after the discovery of Haven Settlement, the galaxy had fundamentally changed. The Galactic Council had established the Haven Protocols, new guidelines for interspecies relations based on the revolutionary discoveries. On Zephyr Prime, Captain Mitchell Ross commanded the first mixed crew ship in galactic history, with human children serving as cultural ambassadors alongside adult crew members. His ship, the Harmony, had successfully established peaceful contact with 17 previously hostile species, each interaction facilitated by the natural diplomatic abilities of human children. "Captain, we're approaching the Nexus system," announced his navigation officer, Lieutenant Commander Sarah Kim. "The Scorith Empire has agreed to meet with us." The Scorith were known throughout the galaxy as one of the most aggressive species, having destroyed entire civilizations in their expansion. But recent reports suggested they had young of their own, and the Haven Protocols indicated that human children might be able to establish communication. 12-year-old Marcus John, one of the original Haven children, stood beside the captain as they entered the Scorith system. He had grown up with Void Shepherds and Crimson Hunters, developing an intuitive understanding of alien psychology that amazed even the galaxy's most experienced diplomats. "They're scared," Marcus observed, studying the Scorith fleet formations. "They're trying to look threatening, but they're actually afraid of us." Captain Ross nodded, having learned to trust the children's insights. "Open a channel, but keep weapons powered down." "Marcus, you're on." The main screen flickered to life, revealing a massive Scorith warrior, its armored carapace gleaming with weapon systems. The creature's multiple eyes focused on the human child, and for a moment the bridge fell silent. "Hello," Marcus said simply. "I'm Marcus. I heard you have children too. Would you like to be friends?" The Scorith warrior's aggressive posture slowly shifted. Its weapon systems powered down, and something almost like curiosity entered its multiple eyes. When it spoke, its voice was softer than anyone had expected. "Human child, you are not afraid?" "Why would I be afraid?" Marcus asked genuinely. "You're just trying to protect your family, right? That's what good parents do." The transformation was immediate and profound. The Scorith warrior's entire demeanor changed, its aggressive stance melting into something almost protective. "You understand. Human child understands the way of protection." Within hours, the Scorith had agreed to the first peace treaty in their species' history. They revealed that their aggression stemmed from a desperate need to protect their young from a galactic environment they perceived as universally hostile. The human children's fearless approach had shown them that cooperation was possible. Dr. Stone, now director of the Galactic Institute for Interspecies Relations, documented the encounter from her laboratory on Haven Station. "The children continue to surprise us," she noted. "They've developed an almost supernatural ability to see past aggression to the underlying emotions and needs." Back on Zephyr Prime, the original Haven settlement had grown into a thriving city where dozens of species lived in harmony. Human children played alongside young creatures from across the galaxy, while their former predator guardians watched over them with devoted protection. James Harrison, now governor of Haven Colony, watched his son Tommy, now 11, teaching a group of young Scorith how to play soccer with a Void Shepherd serving as goalkeeper. The impossible had become everyday reality. "The galaxy is becoming something new," he mused to his wife. "Something better than we ever imagined possible." As the alien sun set over Haven City, painting the sky in colors that existed only on Deathworlds. The future of galactic civilization played out in the laughter of children and the gentle guidance of creatures that had once been considered monsters. The age of fear was ending, replaced by an era of wonder, cooperation, and unlimited possibility.